Did you think it was?
How you doing? How excited are you? Don't give me spoilers, and don't give anyone else spoilers, but how excited are you on a level of 1 to 10? In fact, it's a level from 1 to completely insane. Also, my coffee's cold. So if I have a red face, it's because I literally only realised that I needed to fucking shave before the stream, just before the stream. So I did it really ninja fast and destroyed myself. So what can you do? 11T? Excellent. I'm going to say hello to everyone first. So Spirit, Hold My Single Barrel, Odinson, Buddha, Scrotilia, Flame Dragon, Spike, Nev or Knive, Talos, X4, Breggle the Wild, Rogers, Lady, Fire, Mind Distortion. How do I say your name? Ariodin? Oh, I can't even say it. Ariodin? I don't know how to pronounce it. We're going to call you A. Alex, DJ, go down. Hog the Wild, Daddy Bear, Scuba Steve, Steve Rigg, Drakmilk even, Marshmallow, Live, or Liver, Sassadina, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Cobra, James Bond, Cooper, Blind Alert. There's a lot of you. There's a lot. 18 messages I'm missing. How are you today, buddy? Not too bad, King. How you doing? Mad Hatter as well. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Leanna Lux, welcome. So, quick disclaimer before we go any further. I'm fully aware that people have already read this. Good for you. Good for you. I'm reading this live. I'm going to go through it in order. If anyone tries to go ahead of me, the mods will time you out or at least tell you to stop it. Platts! We better get this out of the way. We have a Dragonborn. It's the mod. Banhammer's the clock. You know the rules, people. The fight starts again from scratch. If you kill the Dragonborn, you'll take the place stream. I have to kill you instead. Thank you very much. Platts, welcome to the stream. Also, welcome Tomahawk and Reese even. Or Rules. Rise. It's Rise Rules. That's how you do it. Can't say people's names. Raymond, how you doing as well? So, this is live. I am going to read it live. This is my job to do this kind of stuff. So, I am going to say exactly what I think and how things are based on the design of the game. Math, thank you for the sub. So, again, no internet. Quit being bad. I want to listen. Yes, indeed. So, you can read this in your own time if you want to. But if you try to spoil it for the benefit of the members watching the stream, or you try to be a smart ass and get ahead of the streamer before they're there just to say, oh, I said it, you will get timed out. So don't be a dick. Enjoy it. Are you ready yet? Should we do it? Or should we just wait? Kest, Tipper, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Even Zai, just lurking while I don't die. Don't mind me. No, you're good. You can lurk. It's fine. Jacob, Little Oz, welcome to the stream. I haven't pressed the ninja button. We're going to do ninja button, then we're going to read stuff. HG Wells, how you doing? Wanker, welcome. Ducky Furs, Bob and Weavin, Hype 33, JR Primus. So, this is really stressful. These streams are very, very stressful. I've got a lot to read through. I've got a lot to explain, a lot to try and absorb and tell you what they are at the same time. There's a lot going on. So, again, don't get ahead of the streamer. Don't try and be a smart ass. And do not, the assumption that the stream is stupid is really wrong, by the way. Do not go to other people's streams or channels or the forums and come into other people's streams and regurgitate what you've heard and assume the streamer doesn't know where it came from. They're not stupid. Anyway, let's go. Swerve, how you doing? Right. Should we have some music? And I don't mean fucking rap music in the background. I mean literally Elder Scrolls music. Elder Scrolls. Ignore that. That's me. Music. Many birds. We'll try and make this really, really quiet so it doesn't overshadow the stream. We want one that's about 4 hours long. I should have done this already. 11 hours worth of Elder Scrolls Skyrim music. We don't want that. Elder Scrolls Online. Can't even spell today. It's been a really, really busy day. There we go. We've got it. So we'll take this one and we'll play it really quiet. Kind of. Can you hear that? Is it too quiet? Bad Bunny? I'd love to, but fucking copyright will kick the shit out of me. Hi Zion Ninjas, how's your day treated you? It's been very, very busy and very, very stressed, which is ironic considering your name is Nonny Stress Relief. Can you hear the music? You can't hear it? I don't want it to be too loud, because some of it's quite dramatic. Is that loud enough? Too quiet? You can hear it or not? Eerie music. It's going to get louder. Lost to Tom McDonald and no copyright will not get you. He put out a lot on the post on YouTube, so anyone use. So I've just let me do my job. I'm aware of what you can and can't do. Hi Zion Ninjas. We're getting into an assault mine zone. We will do. You can hear the music now? Is it over me? That's the final check. Is it over my voice? Bad Bunny dropping elbows in a Royal Rumble the other night. Is it good? Right, let's get the fuck on with it then. Right, so. Sounds good. We know we're getting 2 new dungeons, obviously. So we've got Coral, however the fuck you say that. That one. I know. Americans are going to tell me how to say it properly, and English people are going to be like, what the fuck is that word? Also, Shipwright Regret. We know what that one is. That's where we have all the shipyard and all the rest of it. We can't show that right now, obviously, because... Listen, chat, you're not streamed before, mate. Indeed. These 2... we will show when we can. We'll try and do the PTS afterwards. Depends if the computer holds up or not. But talking about the dungeons right this moment is probably not going to give us much because we'd like to see it instead. Although we are going to get normal versions, vet versions, monster sets, 3 sets in each, hard modes and secrets and all that good stuff. So looking forward to those. Straight in, no fucks, sets. If you haven't seen these already, put news in the chat. Obviously, there is a page there on my website already showing the sets, but we're going to go through them individually live. And yes, of course, you can assume that some of these are subject to change based on testing and performance on the PTS. But at the moment, so we've got max magic, healing done, spell damage, and weapon damage. So again, the stats are consolidated. We know this for all sets at the moment. Weapon and spell damage is basically the same thing on a set. So this is allegedly supposed to be aiming at healing. So healing done and all the rest of it. But an overheal for yourself or your group member with a direct heal. So Breath of Life, that kind of stuff. Not heal over time, big burst. Apply Maligalinks, that's a fucking hilarious name, Maelstrom to the target for 6 seconds and deal shock damage to enemies within 7. So, this damage is based off of 33% of the overhealed amount up to 3300. So basically, if you overheal by 10k, you'll get the most out of it. And this effect can occur once every 10 seconds. So it's only going to happen with direct heals, so the big bursty ones, and it's only going to happen once every 10 seconds if you apply it. But here's the benefit to this kind of stuff. I know I've seen a lot of shitlords today, and I've also seen a lot of people confused about this being anyway viable. Of course it's viable, it does what it says on the tin. People misuse the V word. But basically, lots of people get told on a healer. Doom just subbed, didn't he? Let's escalate it quickly. Doom, thank you very much. We'll get to it. Lots of people, thank you very much, Doom. Lots of people get told that they have to do damage as a healer. That's actually false, okay? It's an inaccurate statement. You can go full heals if you want. You can go damage and a little bit heals. You can go more heals than damage or more damage than heals. It's up to you how you want to fucking play. But with that mentality, you wanting a healer to bring some damage, this set, if you're a good healer, to the point where you're so good that you overheal with your burst heals, you actually apply damage at the same time. So for those that want to be a fully set up healer that does just basically heals, this will push some damage for you doing just that. And also notice it's overheal. Overheal is also how you proc spell power cure. So already if you combine the two and you're very good at healing and you do overheal a lot, people get the buff and you get the extra damage involved as well. With that being a proc, with it being lightning, we're going to have to test it obviously, but proc based abilities do tend to have a higher status effect value with them, just like Overwhelm and Surge. So you might actually apply concussion more often, meaning that anyone using a lightning staff in the past, which had, what, 2% chance to do so with bonuses, now has a much higher chance to hit concussion, which means you can control that off balance if you need it for your heavy attacks. SPC sounds sweet. SPC has been out for a long time. But with it, I mean, if you do overheal, if you are built to be a healer and you overheal a lot because you've just got so much of it, you buff and damage at the same time without having to put on damage sets and blah-de-blah-de-blah. No stressful stuff there. So, Griffin's Reprisal, medium set. Crit chance, so both types of crit. Penetration and crit chance again. Remember, these are consolidated stats as both spell and weapon crit and pen. Now, when you deal critical damage, you or an ally can activate Griffin's Reprisal on an enemy for 8 seconds, causing a small Griffin to fly by and deal bleed damage over 10 seconds to the enemy within 5 meters. All enemies within 5 meters, actually. 5-meter radius is actually pretty damn good. This synergy can be applied once every 20 seconds. The reason that can be applied once every 20 seconds is because it follows the basic rules for synergies. All synergies can be applied once every 20 seconds for a person. But this here hopefully will encourage people to actually activate synergies because you do benefit from them anyway. You do get things from your Undaunted passives. And again, that's free damage right there. Free fucking damage. So really, really nice. But just bear in mind, you or an ally. So you can activate your own synergy. Yes. Glacial Guardian, heavy. So armor, stamina, and health recovery. After successfully blocking from an enemy within 8 meters, you tether to them for 8 seconds. Thank you very much for the sub. Yes. While tethered, excuse me, my sinuses are playing up again. I'm not going to blow my nose on stream because that would be hilarious. Sound like a flute or something, and you'll ask for the whole soundtrack. While you're tethered, you deal frost damage every second to enemies touching the tether. So like a beam that they have to touch, kind of like the necro beams and all that kind of stuff. And when the tether breaks, if the target moves out of 12 meters, so you've got to stay close. But this also has a 200% increase status effect chance, causing them to have a 200% increased status effect chance. And when the tether breaks, let me read that again. The tether breaks at 12 meters or more and can be applied once every 12 seconds. So you've got 8 seconds up, 4 seconds down from activation to run out to recasting again. And the damage scales off of your max health. Much like every other tank skill in the game, about 95% of them in fact, any tanky skills generally scale off of max health. So the higher the health, the more effective that skill. Same applies to this. The higher the health, the more effective the outcome of this particular proc. Bear in mind, again, read this very carefully. It deals frost damage every second to enemies touching the tether and causing them to have a 200% increase status effect chance. So applying shit on that from other sources, we'll have to test it to make sure it works properly, should affect that. So basically how charge kind of works, I mean, this is your buff on top of that. So if you wanted to take advantage of lots of status effects within your group, this now allows you to do so. Also, that makes it really, really easy to apply Brittle if anyone is already doing so, or ever trying to, because if you're using Nature's Bounty, the build, you're covered. You've got no issue there anyway. If you're not using Nature's Bounty on purpose, and you want to use something else, then you are going to be hit and miss with those uptimes and downtimes. Higher status effect controls it a bit better. Monster set from the same dungeon as well. Magicka and Stamina as a one-piece bonus. Very nice. On dealing damage with a heavy attack. Yes, heavy attacks are relevant. Dana, how you doing? Who was that? Gail, how you doing? Thank you very much for the sub. We've got a hype train, people. Do you know how hard it is to fucking maintain a hype train and all the words and stuff and things while I'm doing this? Thank you very much indeed. The hype train has started. You got one level open already. If you complete the level, you go on to the next one. You got 5 minutes per level. That was 70% in already. 4 minutes 41 remaining. Anyway. Heavy attack. Create a whirlwind that slowly moves forward for 8 seconds, growing by 3 meters every 3 seconds. That is a very unusual thing to do, unless it actually starts from the initial cast. If it was going to grow every 3 seconds, that should be 9, because then you got 3 procs from it, although maybe it grows again at the end anyway, or just runs out. Mind Distortion, thank you for the bits. Claw, how you doing? Anyway, as it grows, enemies within the whirlwind take shock damage and physical damage every 1 second. Bear in mind that will line up with the Sork passives because the Sork has physical and shock damage increases. Others don't, but you can still use it, of course. Allies within the whirlwind reduce their magicka and stamina cost by 10%. That is fucking banging. This effect can occur once every 20 seconds and the damage scales off the higher weapon or spell damage. So the higher your weapon or spell damage, whichever one of the two, obviously the better this is. But just bear in mind, this here, this 10% reduction to cost, that is absolutely fucking bonkers. Sure, you can only apply it once every fucking 20 seconds, but if you've got a couple of those in your group, that's a lot. A hell of a lot. That better be a unique buff, because if they stack, that would be dirty. Shipwright's Regret. Look at that. Little Oz with the bits. Thank you very much. Massively appreciate, of course. Bit and Cake in the chat. You have your Ninja Star emote. Use it and abuse it. You've almost killed the Dragonborn, by the way. Stormcutter's Revenge. Light. Magicka. Weapon and spell damage. And Pen. So, again, I know it's light, but it can effectively be on a medium-ish or stamina-ish setup because it's consolidated stats. Apart from the Magicka, obviously, that does contribute towards your pool. When you deal shock damage, you have a 15% chance to deal shock damage to the enemy and up to 2 other enemies within 5 meters. This scales off the highest weapon and spell damage. Now, I know there's lots of people screaming Easy Sork for this one, but just bear in mind, on paper, it says different things to what it would do in-game. On paper, they're base stats that were shown on the stream the other day. Obviously, you have to consider how characters are set up, so that number can vary. On screen, it looked like 1.3, 1.4k, but I know Finn was set up very, very badly. He's going to kill me for that. Kest, thank you very much. Oh my god. Bit and Cake in the chat, people. 5 gifted subs. Hype Train level 2. Dead Dragonborn. Get in. Thank you, Little Oz, as well. Oh my word. I'm pressing it. Dragonborn. Come on. So. You know the rules, people. To fight starts again from scratch. If you kill the Dragonborn, you'll take the place stream. I have to kill you instead. Kess is now up to 10 gifted subs on the channel. Little Oz is now up to 19. If you received a gifted sub, say thank you in the chat. So, Finn was set up to show all the different individual set pieces. So, we didn't have any particular build specking into any particular stat. So, that 1.3, 1.4 that we saw might be a lot higher, might be a lot less. DJ! Thank you very much indeed. Massively appreciated. Bit and Cake in the chat. Now up to a whopping 149 gifted subs on the channel. Hype Train level 2 and 76%. If you get to the next level, you unlock even more emotes. Thank you very much. Oh, man. Get them dead, people. You know how it works. So, basically, on paper, as we saw already, this flat out doesn't look like it actually enhances any extra damage on top of what the Easy Sork already would be, because Undaunted Infiltrator would already be stronger. Kooky! Fucking hell, man! Never gonna get through this. Thank you very, very much indeed. Massively appreciated. Kooky, you're a fucking legend, and you're on the throne. Kill him. Get Kooky a shout out, please. Fucking beautiful. Thank you very, very much. So, to my point, on paper, it looked like this wouldn't actually do any individual more damage than the Undaunted Infiltrator on that particular build. So people are always concerned about this when it comes to Easy Sorg. I don't give you spoilers. Stuff gets tested, but I'm just going to explain how it works. This here wouldn't necessarily do more damage on the overall single target damage of the build. Now, you could argue that the shock damage is AoE, so it covers multiple different targets, but again, the single target would be down. The AoE would possibly be a little higher, but here is the difference. This 15% chance to fire makes that much, much less likely to fire than stuff like Overwhelming. So then, while it's a different proc, Overwhelming covers more, and it procs a lot more often. Lethal, thank you very much. Absolute legend. Beer and cake in the chat. So the way you have to look at this is proc chance, damage output, application, all the rest of it. So no, on paper, it won't necessarily be stronger on X, Y, and Z build. We've already got lots of different variants that are very, very similar. But in testing, we'll actually find out. So while it's nice to speculate on paper, we've got to test it. Anyway, that was a long way around that. Spriggan's Vigor. I've got a pen in my mouth. Don't do that. It's a bad fucking habit. Crit chance, max stamina, weapon and spell damage. When you deal critical damage, you gain a stack of wild growth for 5 seconds and restore 100 stamina. 10 stacks maximum. Each stack of wild growth increases your maximum stamina by 222. This can occur once every 0.5 seconds. So literally within 5 seconds, you can max that out. As long as you're critting loads and loads and loads. I mean, restoring stamina is really nice. Increased stamina, there's nothing to complain about. Doesn't actually say whether it can go 10 max. That might be able to stack on top of itself consistently. So much like Reliquin, when you get to 10, you just keep it up going and going and going and going. If you can keep that going all the time, there's a lot of resources back and a lot of resources improved on your overall bar to help you do more stuff. That might be quite nice. We'll have to test that and see if it does continuously stay. But it looks like it would. Sleek, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Trevelyan, Mad, Epiphany, welcome, welcome. I've got a lot to read, so I'm going quite quickly. You got 1 minute left on the hype train. If you can get past the 83% bar, you're going on for another 5 minutes. Turn and Tide, heavy set. Health, stamina, health again. After successfully blocking, same as the last one after blocking, you gain flow and water for 10 seconds. Oi. Hello. Oh my fucking god. Buddha! Buddha is now up to 171 gifted subs on the channel. There's another 10. Another 10, people. We are 6 subs away from 1.2k, and you're in the next hype train. Thank you very, very much. You know the rules, people. To fight starts again from scratch. If you kill the Dragonborn, you'll take the place of stream. I have to kill you instead. Back to this. So we've complained about... Not complained. We've noted that we want water damage of some description because we haven't really had any. We've been up against some enemies that have water damage. So VKA and March of Sacrifice with a big splash mechanic. And we did see some of the watery stuff with the last boss in Shipwright's Cove, or whatever the fuck it's called. How is it called? Shipwright's what? Shipwright's Regret, even. Cove. Made that up. Holy shit, Doom! Doom! Oh, man. You broke it. You broke it. Hype Train level 3, 82%. Doom, thank you very, very much. He's now up to 255 gifted subs on the channel. And Grey Thunder is now up to 6. Thank you very much as well. I'm going to press it. Get ready. Dead Dragonborn. Where's the button? Dragonborn. Thank you so much. You know the rules, people. Kill him. And you got 3 minutes 38 left on a hype train to get to the next level, by the way, just in case. Has I been over account mod achievements? If any notes on it, I haven't read them yet. Voodoo, just gonna have to keep up. We will get there, don't worry. We're reading through the sets at the moment. I can't backtrack forwards and backwards and all the rest of it, but we're getting there. Lethal's changed her name. Ah, haha! I did recognize that. You deserve it, boss man. Thank you very much. So this set. I was saying about water and all the rest of it. You gain flow in water for 10 seconds, causing your next bash attack to deal magic damage to up to 6 enemies. So it's not water damage, it's magic damage. We still don't have water damage in the game, but it's going to be a watery effect, which is kind of cool. Up to 6 enemies in a 10-meter line, so probably straight ahead like Flame Blossom. And apply major vulnerability for 10 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 10%. This can occur once every 15 seconds and scales off of your maximum health. So, the higher your health, the more effective the debuff. So, longer. Okay? This is a little different, though. Sorry, not longer. More damage from the magic. This is a little different though. This straight line is going to cause some problems because people are going to have to specifically place themselves where they want to be. And also, that means you don't have to have a Necromancer ultimate in your group. So if you don't have one present, or you don't have anyone using one at the time, then you can still bring the buff into your group if you wanted to. Now, something else to consider is the next one. We're getting there. Would be cool if we had a skill like Tidebreaker and KA. Correct, it would be. This set here. So this is if you want to bring minor vulnerability, major vulnerability even, without a Necromancer. Or if you do want to bring a Necro, then obviously you don't need this set. You got choices now. Anyway, this one here. When you use an ultimate ability, the closest 6 enemies within 12 meters have all damage over time, all major debuffs, all minor debuffs applied to them, extended by 1 second for every 25 ultimate cost. This will not apply to damage beams or damage tethers, and this effect can happen once every 20 seconds. 1 second for each 25 ultimate. With 500 ultimate, you can get 20 seconds out of all dots, major debuffs, and minor debuffs. If these do stack, because this is a major debuff, or buff, whatever you want to call it, that's a debuff to the target, this technically would be 20 seconds on top of the 10 here. So you could potentially, if they do stack, end up with 30 seconds worth of major vulnerability and have a 15-second cooldown. So you're already 50% more effective than the actual downtime on it, or the recast of it. Downtime effectively is 5 seconds, so that's fucking bonkers. You actually have it 6 times longer than it's supposed to be down. Yes, of course, that does mean that to get the most out of this, you'd have to stack 500 ultimate. But we've already got a build for that, haven't we? We've got Malcolm, who happens to be a Necromancer. We'll now stack with Elfbane. Let me get there. Oh, you mean, hang on, we are on this one. Elfbane does increase the duration of damage over time, so there's no need for it not to do that, so it should do. Does it? We don't know because we haven't tested. Should it? Yes. However, the problem is, this here, you can't wear it at the same time as another monster set, so it would have to be on you, on somebody else, for you to benefit from all the different things. It doesn't work with beams, though, so Zahn and shit like that, no good. Little Oz, thank you very much for the gifted subs. Massively appreciated. Bit and Cake in the chat. Alex as well with the bits. You are legends. Hype train successful. Thank you very, very much. You're now to hype train level 4. So, again, while this affects damage over time, if you've got Zahn in your group, that's not going to fucking work for it. Beams aren't allowed. Jesus beams don't work. None of that shit. But everything else will do. So, major debuffs especially. Major and minor debuffs. This is going to be fucking bonkers. It's got to be on the target, though. You could effectively end up with a 34-second Venomous Claw, if that's the case. So, that, by the way, is something that can't necessarily translate on the dummy. Because, in situation, depending on how much ultimate the person's got when they fire it, depends on how effective this is, which means instead of you using one of your damage over time abilities once every 10 seconds to make them have their full duration, or 14 seconds, now you have to kind of calculate up to how long they actually last. Blind, thank you very much. Massively appreciate Bit and Cake in the chat. So while people like to use the words dynamic when they never really are, Aldrin, thank you very much for the bits. This is a thing that will alter you paying attention to combat. So basically, instead of this rotation, smash this, smash this, smash this, then this. Instead of that, you're like, fuck, now I've got 30 seconds on those. So just keep up the other stuff and smash buttons and smash your spammables. Or was it not enough and now you have to do half a rotation before you reapply it? Oh, oops. So you've got some awareness to pay attention to inside content if you are using stuff like this. While it might be great to have all those buffs and debuffs and extensions of your dots, now you have to be somewhat active with what you are and are not using in order to keep an eye on your resource sustainability and potential opportunity for burst. So we know everyone likes to burst with all their spammables, but you have to keep reapplying your dots. This could give you a moment in time where you just spam the fuck out of your spammables because your dots are lasting for so bloody long. Or did they fall off? So it's gonna add to some interesting opportunities inside fights if this does go through as it is. I would say this may be too fucking powerful on paper, but without actually testing it in combat versus everything else, hard to say at this point in time, but we'll see. point of the PTS cycle anyway. Sorry to bother you. Could you help me, please? I am Greymore Digital Standard Edition, and I want to buy the Blackwood Box Edition, but it contains all expansion packs. Will that be a problem? No, it won't be a problem. You'll just have anything that you didn't have before with it, so you'll be fine. Or you could just get the Blackwood upgrade. There should be one of those. Do you think that it would stack with Yorvals too? So, it should. Because this will increase the duration of Yorvals, which actually does extend the duration of your buffs and all that kind of... Oh, no, this one wouldn't. This is a major debuff. That won't. That's buffs. So, no. This is debuffs only. Yorvals is buffs. Shame. That would have been cool. I need ESO Plus. Get it. I'm happy now that the patch notes have gone up. Now I can see for myself how things might turn out. Exactly. Hello, streamer. Ken, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. So, anyway, this kind of stuff... I mean, already these were deliberately designed to go together, and they're probably sitting there going, they think they're so clever thinking this up. Yes, everybody thought that. The devs are laughing because we think we're geniuses for figuring it out, but we know that that might be toned down. However, it's pretty fucking cool, especially if you start mixing it with other stuff that you might not think of. Bonnie, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. This also means stuff like fucking Noxus Breath could have a massive uptime, so it's fucking brilliant. Stand meta yet? Feels bad, man. There's no such thing as meta in this game. Don't be so silly. The game has so many millions of possibilities in the game. There is no one way or no way. There's only just the way you want to play, or the way you like to play, or the way you play when someone else tells you to. There is no best, and chasing it is going to lead to disappointment because you'll always have to change if that's the case. Dies and collectibles, we're not going to go through those because of course we can't see the fucking things. Achievements and titles. This update introduces over 40 new achievements and 6 new titles. That's not what we're looking for, but great. That's all for the dungeon stuff because there's 2 new dungeons. Fan-fucking-tastic. We've got hard modes, you've got speed runs, you've got all the usual stuff, no group member death, all that shit. Absolutely brilliant, so we're happy about that. New motifs, again, we can't see them. New furnishing, again, can't see those. The new home, I'm going to briefly go over. This fucking thing is bonkers. If it's the one they showed on the PTS, there is a house that looks like a giant fish tank from the inside, and you're inside of it. You're inside the air bit, and the outside is the fish tank. It's a reverse fish tank. You're in a bubble. Anyway, that house is fucking huge. So if you get a chance to go on to... Is it this one? I'm not sure which one it is. Oh, it's this one. Talgo is an undersea anomaly. So this one here, if you get a chance to check that on PTS, go fucking check it. If you haven't seen it on the ZOS stream already, absolutely amazing. Hype train successful. Throw in the beer and cake and the new emotes. Also, I don't know what the fuck happened there, but I went to 1.2k subs. That's bonkers. Base game. Here we go. So account-wide achievements. Lay off the salt. We do have mods. This is an open mind stream. Don't just whinge in the chat because you don't like it. You got to be constructive to some extent. And none of that, oh, it kills replayability. That buzz term is, quite honestly, the most pathetic thing I've ever heard in my life. Those people are the ones that still keep playing the same thing over and over and over and over on the same character. So don't give me that crap. Anyway, beginning with this update, so obviously there will be more to come. Most of the achievements will be tracked on an account-wide level. This means that the achievement you earn on one character will show as complete on all. You'll be able to purchase items and antiquity leads that require achievement completions, so long as at least one character has completed the achievement. Titles are now account-wide, meaning any titles you have earned on one character, you'll be able to use on all. Good. You got it. Why should you not be able to show it off? It's your achievement. You will need to log in on each of your characters to register their achievements and titles, same as we did with the sticker book. And if you delete a character before logging in as them, your achievement data will be lost. So just bear that in mind, people. If you are deciding now that you've got freedom because you're not tied to your main anymore, because now everything carries across the board, make sure that you at least log into a character before you decide to delete it because you think they might be useless now. You might have some mules that have been sitting there forever, but you might use them one day, but you might not. Now you've got so many armory slots, you don't really need that many character slots anyway. So if anyone is planning on deleting their characters, for the love of fuck, make sure you log in with it first to get any achievements they might have. Note, while achievements may be account-wide, some things are commonly tracked via achievements are still tracked on an individual character basis. That includes enchant and rune knowledge achievements. So if you make something with a rune, you know what it does now. That is going to be remembered on particular characters. Motif crafting knowledge, because the motifs do cover across the whole account as far as the outfit system is concerned. But if you're crafting, then of course you need to know that style before you can make it physically. Although to be fair, outfit system kind of killed that anyway. Lore book reading, including the Edic Memory and Shadow's Library. Sky Shards obtained by the character, but just bear in mind, of course, you can unlock those with the Crown Store if you've already done them. Public Dungeon Group Event Achievements and Dragon Guard Sanctum Daily Achievements. So these are the limitations. Nothing else is limited as far as we can see. However, more explanation here. Motif Crafted Knowledge and Achievement Links. To aid you in tracking your motifs, your character knows, we've added links from motif achievements to their lore book entries so you can jump from the achievement, which is now count-wide, to lore books, which are still tracked by character basis. So you can see what you've got across the board, but individual ones will have individual ones unlocked. I have no faith in people say, Crystal Palace, how you doing? Who deletes characters without logging into them? I mean, you shouldn't, but people do. Emperor on all tunes? Yes, of course. You've been the Emperor before. Why not show it off? Maybe you are in a new body now, but your epic adventures have been remembered by others. Who knows? You could roleplay as a spirit inside another shell. As part of your Camp 1 achievements, we rebalanced how the Undaunted skill line advances. People were worried about this. You'll now obtain Undaunted reputation when completing quests found in instant dungeons, and increase the amount of reputation you gain for completing Undaunted dailies. We've also removed Undaunted guild progression from Undaunted achievements. So, before, where you would get 500 rat kills in Wayrest Sewer, or kill this boss without dying, or all this kind of stuff, all those individual dungeon achievements that would contribute towards your Undaunted skill line level up, no longer do that. Instead, you get XP for doing dailies, and you get XP for doing the quests, and it is heightened in order to help you still level it up if you can't get achievements anymore. So people were concerned about the across the account achievements, meaning, well, my new character can't get Undaunted. You can, you just got to do the dungeons. New PvP sets, rewards the worthy. Get in. So, Rally Cry, Light Set, Crit, Magicka, Crit again. Remember, pay very close attention to this. Crit chance is both weapon and spell. All sets are doing that now. The only difference between this and what would allegedly be a Stam set is the fact that you've got a Magicka resource pool, which anyone can use, and it's in light. But you know, you can use weapons and jewelry, or you might be using those of light anyway. Who knows? While Battle Spirit is active, critically healing yourself or any ally causes you and up to 11 group members within 12 meters to gain 300 weapon and spell damage and 1,650 crit resistance for 20 seconds. Each group member affected reduces the weapon damage and spell damage by 15 and the critical resistance by 83. This effect can occur every 15 seconds. So, Cyril alone, PvP only. You can't activate it outside anywhere else, which is quite interesting because that means that instead of going to PvP to get stuff to use in PvE, this particular one is set in stone. However, the bigger the group, the lesser the reward. So for those smaller groups that like to go deliberately small, this is going to benefit for you more than it would for a larger group. But a larger group is still going to benefit for some nonetheless. Hue and Sunder, medium set. Stam, weapon and spell. When dealing damage with a heavy attack, you gain 1, 2, 3, 6 offensive pen for each enemy within 8 meters of your target for 10 seconds. This effect can occur once every 7 seconds. So if you basically, let's just say for argument's sake, there's a big cluster of enemies and you're heavy attacking with a lightning staff, well, your pen for all that fucking splash damage just went through the roof. Fan-fucking-tastic. And note, it's for each enemy, which means that's not 1, 2, 3, 6 once. It's a lot. How the fuck do you say that? I can't even speak anymore. Enervating aura. Healing taken. Max health and armor. Wait a minute. That for each enemy. That does not say players, and it does not say battle spirit. That could be used anywhere. Interesting. Anyway, moving on. When you deal direct damage, you have a 10% chance to create an area under the target that detonates after 1 second. More bomb sets. Applying an elevating aura for 10 seconds. It lowers the health recovery, mag recovery, and stam recovery of enemy players by 129 per player hit. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. So unlike most bomb sets, which go boom the more players there are, this one has a more drastic recovery reduction debuff, kind of, for the more people involved. So if you want to jump into a group of people, but you know that they're probably going to survive the initial hit, you can nuke their resources so they can't do much after you fucking hit them anyway. So that is going to be quite dirty, and pay very close attention to this again. This is players. It's player hit. Would you say stam immediately thought of Monty Python spam? Imperial City Prison stuff. So these are rewards of the worthy, by the way, these three here. The only one that is actually got anything in it that says it could be used in anything other than PvP is the medium set. That would actually be quite interesting. Regardless, these are definitely tied to PvP. So this one here increases armor. So this is a monster set. Dealing frost damage, create an area under the target for 6 seconds that applies chilling bite every second. So 6-second damage over time. Chilling Bite deals frost damage and applies stacking 25% snare for 4 seconds. At 4 stacks, the enemy is immobilized and gains major brittle for 4 seconds, causing the target to take 20% increased critical damage. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds and scales off of your highest weapon or spell damage. That is bonkers. That doesn't say player either. That is a set that applies major brittle, which is new. We have not had that before. We've had minor. So if you can stun something, you get major brittle on it. Which, of course, when the enemy is immobilized, you can't use that on a boss because you can't immobilize them. But that is quite handy. Very nice. Wouldn't wide account titles debate people in... No, it wouldn't. I can run around with a GH on a healer and put me in a group and I would have no clue what I'm doing. Well, the thing is, for you to get that in the first place, people would hope you know what the fuck you're doing. That is a fear that people are mis-selling. Because if you have got that title, I'd expect you not to be shit. If you suck, it's your own fault. Unless you bought it, in which case, meh. Baron, major brittle counts towards a crit cap. Major brittle, well, of course it does. It's capped. That's the point of being capped. Mike, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Recovery again. Oh fuck, no, I missed one. So pen bonus, when you deal direct damage to a target within 12 meters, create an area that after 1 second quickly moves forward and then returns again. It's got a boomerang set. Dealing shock damage and applying minor innovation. I hate these words sometimes. They're really fucking weird. It's for English speaking anyway, because Americans should go, no, it's doing it wrong. Because Mike will just fucking correct me all the time. For 5 seconds, causing them to deal 10% less critical damage. So this is a minor debuff that we did already have. You can get it from potions and shit too. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds and scales off your highest weapon and spell damage. So again, nice debuffy set for a monster set. You don't have to carry a poison for that. You can use something else, which is quite nice. Hi, Zion. Mike, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Good, haven't missed any swinging. You have not. There's been no swinging yet. Major Brittle Monster set home is going to look good on my Frost Warden build. It will, but just bear in mind that won't work on a boss because it has to be immobilized first. You have to go tick, 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 immobilize. Otherwise, it won't fire. So that's why it's more beneficial on a player. But of course, if you're in a big area with lots and lots of trash, great. On dealing direct damage, you mark a target for 6 seconds. Every 2 seconds after, an explosive scamp is spawned, fucking hell, nearby that detonates after 1 second. So you get 3 scamps and they go boom. Dealing magic damage up to 6 enemies within the 4-meter radius that applies minor timidity for 10 seconds, draining 1 ulti every 1.5 seconds, so reverse minor heroism. And each explosive scamp spawned deals 100% increased damage. This effect occurs once every 25 seconds and scales off your highest weapon and spell damage. So basically, troll build. You will do direct damage to someone, fuck tons of scamps will come out and go boom, 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 drain your ultimate and fuck you up. Interesting. For all the sounds on it, is saying it's wrong. Remember, English is his second language. Fucking twat. Joe, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Actually happy Mike is here. I need to finish up some work because fuck my life, I'm still working. Fair enough. New outfit styles. We did see some of the PvP stuff on the live stream. There is a new costume that you can get only in PvP for doing certain things, stuff and things. So you can't get them any other way and you can't trade them. So that's a brag and right for you. Unique set collection item set collection update. This update, when you unlock any individual piece of perfected item set, you will now automatically unlock the non-perfected. You bastard! I've got that out of my system. So this is how you look at those things, right? Whoa, that's not fair. I got my title on loads of different characters. Tough shit. Games progress. Now it's a benefit for everyone. Same with this. For those of you that did normal and vet to get all your perfected and normal stuff, what can you do? You put the work in, you got it. But now in future, it's never going to be an issue again. So that would encourage you to go for the perfected stuff more than the other stuff because now you only have to do the sticker book fucking rotation once. So yes, my Vatashran runs and my Maelstrom runs and my other runs and all the rest of it were in vain. So now I should go onto YouTube and Twitter and all the other social media platforms and complain that I want my money back. And be entitled and say that's not fair because Timmy over there didn't have to do that and I did. I put the work in. It's tough shit. I'm happy about it. Nothing I can do. I mean, we're still going to play the fucking game anyway. This is a good change. This is a very good change, in fact. That saves a lot of time farming the same thing twice. Because let's face it, if you got perfected, you're only going to use one of them anyway. You got normal perfected on my character, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, indeed. That's going to be interesting for the new players. It is going to be interesting for the new players because for them, they're going to come in and they're going to see the normal and perfected stuff. They're going to be able to go for the normal stuff if they're scared of the perfected, but if they do go for the perfected stuff, they're still going to get the other stuff to fill the book anyway. It's time saved. Deconstruction Assistant, we fucking love this, don't we? So, a new assistant. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Is it Gilladil or Gilladil? The Rag Picker. Nice name. Is available through the Crown Store that allows you to deconstruct weapons, armor, jewelry, glyphs for material while out adventuring. Players in the group can use it as well, obviously, but with proper permissions in their home, have access to the services in your house. Can be summoned while out adventuring in non-PvP areas and placed in houses. Services award inspiration the same way deconstructing does, so you will still get XP for deconstructing stuff with the merchant, just like you would the tables. This assistant does not allow for crafting or refining, so you still will have to go to the towns to refine your scraps, and will not allow you to access deconstruction for crafting skills you don't have. So you can't open the skill lines with that character. You have to go to a crafting station. So they are still somewhat relevant. Vaguely, but they are. Crafting abilities that affect deconstruction still apply when you're using the assistant. So if you've got something that helps you get more materials back from deconstructing, whether it be a champion point passive or a crafting skill passive, that still applies. Multi-mount riders, or multi-rider mounts, whatever. 2 people on the same mount. This they did post about earlier, but the Dwarven Spider is the first one they ever tried in 2020, apparently. Fuck, that was a long time ago. And now they've got a horse as well. They can hold a maximum of 2 player characters, 1 driver and a passenger, between you and a companion as well. So you can have a person or a companion with you. Can you deconstruct egos? That's really easy, dude. You just go to the forums. The owner of the multi-rider is always the driver. The passenger seats can only be interacted with by an active group member. So unfortunately, you can't get people just run up to you and fucking frog leap onto your mount. Hopefully in the future they'll let you do that, because it would be fucking so funny hijacking the back of someone's dog. Anyway, when the driver is mounted, the group member can bring up the radial menu by pressing the interact with player, or F by default on the keyboard, holding the menu on the button controller. So you've got your options menu on the control pad. And when looking at the mounted player, then simply select ride mount option. When the driver dismounts, the passenger will be dismounted as well. So if you get off your horse, they're off. You chuck them off. Chuck them off a cliff. I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to jump off a cliff with someone on the back. Alternatively, the passenger can individually dismount if desired. So these are basic functions, kind of similar to what they had in the first place, but they're now trying to make this all fixed up so we can actually use it. New furnishing items. We're not going to go over this stuff because we can't see them. Housing server optimizations. This update includes some optimizations for when... Just thank you very, very much. Oh my god. Look at you. Legend. 20 months in a row. Thank you very much indeed. What have we got here? I was halfway through it. Their own optimization for when many people are in their own versions of the same home at the same time. These changes take place behind the scenes and should not impact your experience in your home at all. Zone chat, furnishing placement, combat, and all other aspects of the house should continue to work as before. The servers will just be a bit happier about it. Okay, good for the servers. To be safe, we'd like to keep an eye out for any new or unusual behaviors during the PTS cycle, particularly in many copies of homes are active at once. So for people that are doing all the housing stuff, if you are on the PTS, if you do see any mess, report it. Don't let it go live and then complain that it came through. Make sure you report it. That's what the test server is for. Emphasis on the word test. So for this reason, we are starting the PTS with only the new Seavale Spire home odds for sale to help concentrate testing into a single home with as many personal copies active as possible. In a future PTS patch, we will re-enable purchase of the other homes as well. So you're going to see the new one. Go in there, put a Mosasaur in a tank. I want to see it. New prologue as well, of course. We are due a chapter this year, so there will be a prologue to go along with that to kind of get you into the story. You can do it on the PTS, but of course, if you don't want to spoil it, then you can wait until it goes live. For the PTS cycle, we are offering 2 templates, same as before, max CPs and a low level. Here we go. Ready? Love this bit. So, combat and gameplay. Companions. Increase the threshold of summoning companions. In some instances, gameplay instance gameplay spaces from 2 up to a maximum limit of 4 total player characters and companions. So that means, yes, you can go into a dungeon with 2 people and 2 companions. Companion quests can now be accepted from locations where the companion cannot be summoned. Quest zones, these are going to be specific to individuals that are there at the time, but moved, not a Sid's path, so he doesn't interfere with players trying to turn in their crafting dailies. You can keep stabbing through him, as is tradition. Very good. Xenophar's Hollow, the door to the... How the fuck do you say that? Additum? Will now... I've never even used that word in my life. Will now display a proper error message if you aren't on the quest, you haven't done it. So it fixes there. Thank God. Yeah, all the people doing writs and shit. Like, oh my God, thank fuck for that. So, Asylum Sanctorium, your character will no longer die inexplicably in environmental damage with no discernible source during the fight against St. Ohms. Don't let this be an opportunity for people to go, see? Lag. I was lagging. You kicked me for... No, you stood in fucking stupid. You know you did. Anyway, anyone that has experienced something that is a little bit untoward is now fixed. Fixed an issue which caused the Assembly General in Halls of Fabrication trial to not drop weapons when killed. Oops. That's a boo-boo. Deadlands achievements added punctuation to several Deadlands achievements. I need punctuation. I can't even speak fucking English. Fix an issue that would cause some achievements related to Havoc executioners to not fire correctly. See, all these weird words. I'd never see them and glaze at them really, really quickly and get them right. All my deaths are inexplicable. Yeah, I have no idea why you died, and nor do you. Fix an issue where furnishing items shared the name Bookstack Levitating. The new one released with the Deadlands DLC is named Fargrave Bookstack Levitating, because that caused some issues. Rigged? Who won? I'm going to press congratulations. The heist. Aldrin, Mad, Figuri, Mind Distortion, JR Primus, Mike got mad. The Stupid Invisible granted, but you were still standing in it. You were still standing in it. Correct. You still stood in stupid. You just didn't see the stupid, which was stupid. Adjusted the default orientation of the Deadlands window storm glass, so the light projection faces towards you by default. This change doesn't impact any previous placements of the furnishing, but will make it a little more intuitive to place going forward. Excellent. We're going into more quest improvements, aren't we? So these are very specific to individuals. I don't know if everyone's going to be stuck here at the time, but we just go through them. Fuck it. Celestial Palanquin fixed an issue where Madame Wimps, or is it Wimps? Pip would not appear during the event. All Dragon Guard Zone quest stories now have the proper zone story icon in the quest journal. That particular DLC, I'm going to admit, when it first came out, was a little bit choppy because there's a lot of quests in there I had to reset by logging out of the game and going back in again. Hopefully they fixed a lot of that. Or maybe they did since I've done it. It was a long time ago. Improved the set curation of Sentinel Abubu. I don't know how the fuck to pronounce that. Rewards. Is it Axla? It's Dwemer. Sneeze. Rewards in Black Drake Villa. It's not Dwemer, is it? What the fuck is that? What language is that? It looks Dwemer. Actually, it's not Dwemer because that would have an R and a K and an M and a Z and an X and a Y at the beginning. Patreon link, thank you very much. I wouldn't sign up to Patreon until after midnight. It's 31st now, isn't it? Something like that. So, Patreon payments are taken per calendar month. So, wait until the 1st of February. Otherwise, you'll get double charged for last month and next month. But yes, bookmark it for tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of stuff and things. Anyone that's a secret ninja on Patreon, by the way, you're going to see that channel fucking blow up this week. Tutorial window for using the Antiquities Eye is now extended slightly and requires you to acknowledge the window by closing it. Fix a typo in the Daedric Enchantment Apparatus lore entry. Fix an issue where some excavations could take an exceptionally long time to load in. I have not had a long load screen for a long time, actually, except for on PC. Richmond, so Gaelic inspired. Well, that means that's... I still can't pronounce it. It's lovely, deter. Brilliant. It's pronounced... Here's the spelling you couldn't read. We've got more quests and shit, haven't we? Fixed improvements. Gold Coast stuff. Gold Coast should no longer drastically change. Lighting within Smuggler Caves. Was it having a disco? This person here is no longer standing and walking around in front of Vivek. Turning in boxes for crafting dailies, you're welcome. So crafters out there, Vivek, no problem. It's pronounced Tim. Ah, knew it. I knew A-K-S-A-L is pronounced Tim. What's the rest of the word? Is it Timaz? Say that with an accent. You got it. What Where are we here? Fix an issue where the motifs associated with Red Petal Bastion and Dread Cellar could drop twice in some circumstances. Oops. Double money. Depths of Malatar. If you exit the dungeon after using the dictates of the Lady of the Night and defeating the Symphony of Blades, your character will no longer take increased damage until death. That's some of the stuff that happens. Oh my god. It's AK Salad. DJ got it. One person in the whole chat got it. I can't believe it. Dear oh dear. Right. This is the bit we really want. Are you ready? Aya. Shall I just get this Irish? Are you sure about that, Lizzie? What do you know? You're Brazilian. That's cheating. Right, okay. Let's see. Player abilities that oh, no. Do you know what? I'm going to get a drink first. I'll be right back. Right, people. Moment of fucking truth. Am I going to throw up or not? I have been avoiding the fridge, okay? Because over Christmas, we decided to put some beer in the fridge just so we had some. By the way, thank you for that sub, free buddy. Massively appreciate it, of course. And just for the sake of having beer in the fridge while we were backwards and forwards to family houses and all the rest of it, I ended up with fucking Bud, of all things. When the hell did the beer and cake emotes go? They're there. Gib, thank you very much indeed. Massively appreciated, of course. Thank you for that prime sub. Scuba Steve, they're all there. They're just different. There are some for following and there are some for subbing. You've got both. There's now a letter Z in Irish language, apparently. It's when they're asleep. You just put loads of them together. So, we ended up with loads of Bud over Christmas, and I've been avoiding it because I fucking hate it. In a bottle, it's fine. In a can, it's dog shit. But we need a beer during this stuff. So, my suffering is all for you. I hope it doesn't taste like battery acid. I didn't know what battery acid tastes like. Well, you do as well, don't lie. Everybody licked a battery once. That one time. That's why my hair's curly. Although you can't see that because it's tied in knots at the moment. Enjoy the Bud, hold your nose and swallow. Yeah, pretty much. Can you hear it? When you pour it out, it sounds like a massive fart. I feel your pain. It's got to go. It's just sitting there. Otherwise, I'll have to give it to neighbours. You can hear it. Sure, it's not that bad this time. It's not great, but it's doable. Right, let's move on. The bit you want to hear. People on YouTube now watching this the next day are being like, oh my god, fucking get on with it. You got a fast forward button, dude. Shut the fuck out. You have 8 boxes of it. I've got a few. Right, so player abilities now scale with your offensive stats, such as weapon damage and max stamina, which will now dynamically scale with the highest of your offensive. So, as a heads up, the following abilities have not received the adjustment. So, Backlash and its final damage morph, Conjured Ward and its morphs, Annulment and its morphs. So, the Sork damage shield, the Light Armor damage shield, and Backlash or Power of the Light or Purifying Light. So, just to touch on this, we have gone over this before because we were told about this recently. Be jealous you got to Guinness. I'm very jealous. Very jealous that you have Guinness. Oh, by the way, sidelining just a little bit. He's been here long enough. He's not going to get away with it. Fuck no. Someone had a birthday yesterday. And he did tell me the day before, but he was very, very quiet when it actually happened until I got on comms after stream. So you see that name on the top left-hand side of the screen that has donated a whopping massive amount to the channel over its period of time. He had a birthday yesterday. So you need to tag him in the chat and say, happy birthday, Bob and Weaven. Even if it's late, flood the fucking chat and tag him, everyone. Make sure you tag him because I want him to be spammed. Do it. I'm going to press the button. There was no way you were getting away with that. Beer and cake in the chat, spam Bob and Weaven. Right. While that's happening, you're welcome. This means now that if you have a skill that scales off of weapon and weapon damage and stamina, so say Vigor, or Biting Jabs, or Venomous Claw, that will now scale also equally off of spell damage and magicka. Just depends on which one you're spec'd into. So while the resource cost is still set in stone as to which of the 2 bars you use, the max amount of each one of the 2 is the one that's going to encourage its strength. So now, if you wanted to, say, be a Stamplar, full stamina, but you didn't want to use Vigor because either you didn't like it or it just didn't feel effective enough, prior, you couldn't really use Breath of Life. It would be really, really weak because you didn't scale the stats for it. Now you can. Now you can use it, and it would be equally as strong as it would be if you want a mag DPS. Same goes for Vigor for maybe mag healers. If you were a Magicka build and you were a Magicka healer using Magicka healing skills and resto skills and all the rest of it, you could spec into spell damage and Magicka and still now benefit from the Vigor skill because it now scales again off of your highest offensive stats. So stuff like that. Also, it means that on a Stamplar, we'll use Stamplar again as a primary example. Technically, now that means you can use the Jesus Beam. Will you have the resources to be able to spam it? Who knows? Depends on the resource recovery of yourself and the group and your build. But it means you can now use Jesus Beam on a stand build. It also means that the ranged Nightblade Execute, the Magicka costing one, could now effectively be used at range for a Bobo Nightblade. So things like that are stuff you can consider. Also, a mag melee build could use dual wield and spin to win and not be penalized for your resource choice. It just depends on how much you've got to be able to spend it. Pretty cool, huh? So now, while people have tried to be really stupid on the internet and try to scare people into not playing because now they think there are less choices, now there's a fuck ton more. Those choices have always been there, but they haven't always been effective. Now they are. Massive difference. Off balance with spin to win? Perfectly correct. Exactly that. So, that kind of stuff is game changing. That also does mean, by the way, if you're a Stam Sork, Mage's Wrath now works for you as an execute. How cool. So, player abilities that grant Major Savagery and Prophecy, Brutality or Sorcery, now grant both of their respective versions. So, any Major Savagery and Prophecy are both the same. Major Brutality and Sorcery are both the same. From abilities. It didn't say from potions and shit. It said abilities. As, where's it gone? Such as Savagery and Prophecy in efforts to reinforce the accessibility of hybrid stat gaining. So you can build however the fuck you want. Note that player passive and consumables that grant minor versions of these have not been adjusted at this time in order to preserve class-unique power contribution for coordinated groups. Which means your minor bonuses that come from all the different individual classes are still intact, so you can still bring that with you. Can't wait to see the changes to your builds. Now I'm excited. I've been preparing for this shit for a long time. Each individual update that we've had for the last 3 or 4 have been big impacts on what some people use a term for build diversity. And while most people haven't explored that, it is a thing. And it's mental. Fixed an issue where joining or leaving a group could resummon an unsummoned pet. Dragon Knight, Fiery Breath, Engulf and Flames. This morph's bonus damage taken now scales with a mixture of your weapon and spell damage rather than just spell damage and max magicka, which means you can use it on a stam. The cap is reached when you combine weapon and spell damage to over 9,000. Ha! Oh my god, that's fucking epic. Everybody spam over 9,000 in the chat. They did that on purpose. That's quite funny. So if you've got 3k weapon damage and 6k spell damage, or if you've got 6k spell damage and 3k weapon damage, either way, that's how you balance that out. As long as you hit over 9k, you're good. Which means, yes, you're going to have to spec into some sort of weapon if you are using mag, which is pretty cool. Burning Embers. Get ready for this. The ability now heals for up to 100% of the damage done, not 75. Anytime it deals damage, rather than 75 up from the total when it ends. When it deals damage, that is basically Swallow Soul for a DK. Yes, a heal every 2 fucking seconds. How cool is that? That's fucking awesome. Because before you had something like embers, 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 and then you're hitting and hitting and hitting. Next target, claw it back. Whew, got a heal, great. Claw it back, got another heal, great. All that kind of stuff. Did you say damage? I did say damage. But here's the thing. Before, you could claw it back and get a full heal, a full health bar. And that was both a benefit in PvE, but also a negative when it came to PvP, because sometimes you could heal far too much. Now it's over time. So you are getting individual heals, tick, 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 and they can be very, very dramatic, but it's now per hit. No pale order on DKs anymore. Who knows? And don't forget, your damage now scales off of your highest offensive stat. So you can use that on a Stam DK. Ah, so instead of using the Venomous Claw, which does more damage the longer it's on, this one could just keep you alive and keep consistent damage. Plus it's fire, which gives you Magicka resources back if you do a burn status effect, which you do on the initial hit. Which also means more Magicka back, so if you are hybrid built, you can maintain that smaller bar and still use it for resource utility and all the rest of it. That makes Murder of Fire, by the way, really fucking strong. Anyway, that's cool as fuck. Fixed an issue where this morph could heal critically strike despite being based off of the damage that you could already critically strike. If that doesn't make sense to people, basically, if you have a skill that does damage and heal at the same time, you can't double dip. It will crit damage and not crit heal, or not crit damage and crit heal. One or the other. I feel better about my crappy hybrid now. See? There you go. And people panic far too much about this stuff before they can fully understand it. Sometimes you have to have this literally explained with examples and variations of the particular skill and situation. This change was made to help offer the DK more steady healing in the midst of combat rather than locking it behind a more bursty, a more burst-like window where it comes in massive clumps. Since much of the DK's healing currently comes in bursts while their sustained heal is weaker, which is correct. Additionally, this will fix many issues where the healing from a current iteration can return significantly higher than intended in some situations, i.e. PvP, as well as fixing numerous issues where the heal value was incorrect when recasting the ability before the duration ran out. So sometimes it would give you the full heal of the full damage it was potentially going to do rather than what it had already done. Love DK changes for PvP. It's fucking good, mate. It still gives you a bloody good heal. Because you've got to consider, Nightblades are a bastard to kill with Swallow Soul. Because they've constantly got that pressure, that tick, 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 tick. Here's the thing to consider with that. Stam or Mag doesn't make a fucking difference now. So, weapon and spell damage, either one of the two. Stamina or Magicka, either one of the two. Now imagine stacking that and Vigor at the same time. Oh my fucking god. You're going to be hard as fuck to kill. Draconic Power, and again, before, one skill will be Magicka, one skill will be Stamina, as far as the resource increase to Strength would be concerned. Now they're both the same fucking thing. So one costs Magic, one costs Stam, but whichever one you spec into makes them both strong. Man Cave Gaming needs a shout out. He's got one. Nice. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Massively appreciated. Hopefully you have bought your earplugs, so I'm going to shout a lot. If you're not following Man Cave Gaming, definitely go and check him out. Chilled as fuck. Very good streamer. Stream team member as well, by the way. So sometimes it's giveaways and shit. Shh, don't tell him I told you that. Really like the calculator across both spell and weapon damage. It's very cool, dude. So basically, when people saw the Pelinal set originally, people were like, oh my god, imagine if you had things balanced, then you could do both. Don't need to imagine that shit anymore. You can do it across the board and you don't need to set to do it. So let's see. We've got this here. Spiked Armor. The return damage from this ability and its morphs now scales off a mixture of your physical and spell resistance, rather than spell damage and maximum Magicka, to help reinforce its identity as a tank ability. Remember what I said earlier, people, about how there are certain ways to scale a skill. So some skills are scaled off of spell damage and Magicka. Some are scaled off of weapon damage and stamina. If you're a DPS or a healer, it's blind fucking ignorant people that don't spec into that, right? It would be absolutely stupid to not scale those if you wanted to be stronger at those skills, right? So why do people deliberately go less health and less resistances on a tanky character and then claim their abilities are really, really useful? They're not. You can play however you want. You can be as squishy as you want. But if you want to get the most out of your tanky skills, the more health for some of them and the more resistances for others, make that stronger. If you're going to go ham into flat stats for damage, it makes sense to boost the benefiting stats for the tanky stuff. And this is no different, and they've even nailed it here. They want it to reinforce the identity of a tank ability by making it scale off of resistances. So while anyone can use that, and you don't have to spec into weapon or spell damage or anything, the more resistances, the better. That being said, however, if you are in a group that does cover a lot of resistances, so you might have Lord Warden, you might have Grave Guardian, you might have a major resistance buff for the whole group, or obviously from this anyway, you've got resistance buff, you can actually cap out quite easily as a DPS with certain buffs and bonuses in your group, which means you can actually effectively get maximum out of this as a DPS as long as your resistances are on the table at the time. So it is designed to be tanky, but you could build your group around that and make that really fucking strong. Volatile Armor, the area of effect damage from this ability now scales off your physical and spell resistance as well. So again, no more mag DKs using this as an area of effect damage ability. You still can, but you've got to make sure you've got the resistances first. If you don't have the resistances, it's going to be weaker. rather than stamina, spell damage, and magicka. Obviously makes sense. This is a tanky, resistant-y type ability, but just bear in mind, since it carries its own resistances, activating it makes its base stronger already. Necromancer, Bone Tyrant, Bone Goliath. Pummeling Goliath fixed an issue where this ultimate bash overdrive did not receive, thank you for the bits by the way, receive cost and cooldown adjustments that the core mechanic bash got. It now also procs enchantments and poisons. So this has been fixed so it does actually count as a bash. Shock and Siphon, Mystic Siphon, Morph. Fix an issue where this Morph's magicka restore was lower than the tooltip. Good. Excuse me, I got wind. Fix an issue where the Morph and damage was not increasing per attack as stated. I did feel that that felt a little bit lower, but I didn't know why. Did you hear that? Didn't know. That's right. If I don't know something, I'll say I don't know. DJ, thank you very much for the bits. Enjoy your Ninja Star. 1k bits, people, get you your first Ninja Star badge and emote. Any after that goes up to the next one. The heal from all of these abilities and their tooltips are now properly tracked as an area of effect. Should be. Oh, yes. G.I. Joe is a Dragonborn. You know the rules, people. The fight starts again from scratch. If you kill the Dragonborn, you'll take their place to stream. I'll have to kill you instead. Thank you very much. Nightblade. Oh, no, what not Nightblade yet, are we? Oh, no, we are. Assassin's Blade, Killer's Blade. Fixed an issue where this ability could fail to be recognized as a class or execute ability in some rare cases. That's fucking annoying, especially if you're using sheer venom or something like that. It didn't fire. Grim Focus fixed an issue where the override of this ability in its Morph's Assassin's Will was 30 meters instead of the standard 28. Yep, most abilities are 28 meters except for the sniper abilities, which can go much, much further, especially if you have propelling shield. Teleport Strike fixed an issue where this ability in its Morph's tooltip stated it had an insta-cast rather than a 400 millisecond cast time. Had since the Teleport Strike had a... Oh, okay, fair enough. So basically, you can't hit it and then instantly bar swap while you're in midair. Like Dawnbreaker, Swallow Soul, Incap, all that kind of stuff. I had to think about that for a moment. Path of Darkness made the back-end improvements to this ability and its Morphs to improve performance. Refreshing Path, this ability now heals one less time over its duration as a result of the back-end adjustments mentioned above, but its total healing has been increased to ensure no changes in overall power have been made. So that will tick less, but be the same, basically, over time. Finish him! Bow to me, he says. Hey, Zion Ninjas, White Wolf, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Strife, increase the damage, stability, and funnel health and the morph by 5.6%, as if that needed buffing. Fine, we'll take it, whatever. Sorcerer, Dark Magic, Crystal Shard. Crystal Weapon Morph. This ability now will replace Imbue Weapon or its morphs after casting to help reduce the amount of burst potential it can offer with a singular moment. So basically, you can fire those abilities, and then your light attack you fire afterwards will make it trigger. But they have a 2-second timer, so you can actually fire both abilities, then light attack, and get both of them a proc at the same time. Not anymore, one or the other. Daedric Minds fixed an issue where this ability and its morphs scaling coefficients did not match the expected ration of one weapon or spell damage to 10.5 magicka or stamina. So everyone thought it was a 1 to 10 ratio. It's not. It's 1 to 10.5. This will result in scaling less effectively with weapon and spell damage, but more effectively with maximum magicka and stamina. So bear in mind, by the way, that means the higher the resource, the bigger the damage. So if you have really high spell damage or weapon damage, great, it's nice, but this one scales off of the highest resource as well. Did you listen to that, Mike? In case, Shatter and Prison fix an issue where this ability's damage was not considered an area of effect by many cases. That should be. Daedric Summoning, Bound Armaments. Fix an issue where this ability was not being considered as direct damage. Oh, that's fucking awkward, because that is literally a fucking dagger thrown. You did? You heard it? Good. Hopefully you got it. Lightning Form, this ability in its morphs now lasts 20 seconds at base, up from 15, which will probably match the standard duration of armor ability buffs. Yes, because that one was a little bit fucking weird. Very strange timer on that one. Boundless Storm and its morphs now rank up to 30 seconds, up from 23. 23 was a weird timer. 30 seconds on Boundless Storms? So instead of casting it every 2 rotations on the Easy Sork, you cast it every 3. That's a resource gain and a half. That's what, 4k reduction to fucking magicka wasted every two casts. You much like? Yeah, indeed. The morph no longer ranks up by 1.1% per damage done per rank. Would be do. I mean, technically, if it's down by 1.1 per rank, over the extended 7 seconds that we're now getting out of it, it should do the same damage over the whole duration. Yes, That's good. Hurricane, the area of effect from this morph now grows at 8 and 15 seconds rather than 6 and 11. Reduce the damage per tick down by 8%, down from 10. And the total damage bonus will reach a maximum of 160 at match stacks, up from 150, resulting in a slightly more damage. Just bear in mind, by the way, this does physical damage. This does give you a resistance bonus, and it doesn't necessarily last the same duration as this. But while this does lightning, this can be used even if you're speccing into spell damage and max magicka. You just have to make sure that you've got enough stamina to maintain it. So if you wanted the stronger damage instead of the faster movement and all the rest of it, because you've got major attached to this one, you could use this instead. But you'd have to use it more often. So that's the trade-off. This one lasts longer. This one does more damage, but you'll have to cast it more often. Magicka build or stamina build doesn't make a fucking difference. Consolidating the stats so that they contribute to your highest offensive stat means both are free game. Very nice. Templar, Adric Spear, Burning Light. The passive now only deals magic damage rather than magic or physical damage, but continues to scale off your highest stat. That makes sense because at the end of the day, the difference to damage types now is pretty much null and void. It doesn't really exist, apart from the status effects. So unless you've got a contributing bonus in your group to increase the certain damage types or the sets, so let's say Morag Tongue increases poison damage to the target, DK Breath increases fire damage to the target, stuff like that. The flat bonuses to damage output from particular types of damage is the same because Pen is consolidated anyway. But with this being magicka or physical, it was kind of tied to 2 different status effects on the same passive, which is extra calculation for no good fucking reason. So they've decided, where's it gone? This one here. So they've decided which one you get. And with Templar being basically built for magicka and all the rest of it, they do have some physical, they decided to opt for one, which is pretty damn cool. You can basically have minor magic still on tap. Focus Charge, Explosive Charge, fix an issue where the damage from this ability could not be dodged, similar to Stampede or Brutal Pounce. This also, by the way, just bear in mind, scales off your highest offensive stat. So while it would cost X, Y, and Z resources before, doesn't matter which way you play, it's still going to be beneficial. Puncture and Strikes, Biting Jabs morph. This morph now grants major brutality and sorcery for 10 seconds after casting. No more pots. Nice. Rather than major savagery for 8 seconds. Sunfire already grants major savagery and prophecy now. So on a Stamplar, if you used Biting Jabs and Sunfire ability, so Reflective Light, whatever, you're using a magic ability and a stam ability. They give you brutality, sorcery, prophecy, and savagery all at the same time. And both skills, although they're both used with different resources, both scale off of your highest. So yes, you've now got a ranged damage over time sun ability for your Stamplars. Or a stam-based spam ball that gives you buffs on your Magplar if you don't want the heals. Fucking awesome. Spear Shells. Increase the range of this ability and it's more to 28 meters up from 25. That makes sense because the pull abilities are 22. Every other range ability is 28. Why the fuck is that 25? Reduce the radius of these abilities up to 6 meters down from 8 to match their visual effects and proper power budget. Obviously, lesser area of effect because now bigger range. Which is pretty cool. Wow. You seeing how this works now? You know those fucking Facebook posts? This is going to delete build diversity. Did you think that all by yourself? Go have another fucking donut. Sun Shield. Radiant Ward. Increases the shield scaling per enemy hit to 20% at rank 4 up from 9. That is a big, big damage shield. Very fucking nice. The more overwhelmed you are, the stronger you get. Fucking cool. Dawn's Wrath Eclipse. Oh, this is such a fucking cool ability. Live in Dark. Reduce the snare potency of this morph to 40% down from 60. Unstable Core. Fix an issue where this ability had a 100 millisecond cooldown per effect rather than listed as 1 second. Which created situations where it was dealing significantly more damage as intended. Fucking hell. That's dramatic. 10%. Where have we gone here? Restore and Light. Sacred Ground. Fix an issue where the passive was not working with Ritual of Retribution. Oops. That's from that skill line. It should carry it. Temper's making a comeback. What do you mean comeback? G.I. Joe, you've been away for way too long. You missed some streams. Lazy Tank. Off Balance. Simplar. Put them in the chat. Also, Cleric. They got a build for every single fucking role on the channel. They're not dead. Far from it. They've been using them on every single fucking stream. Animal Companions. Scorch. Deep Fisher Morph. Increase the duration of Major Breach granted by this morph up to 10 seconds up from 6. Thank fuck for that. Now you don't have to cast it every 6 fucking seconds unless you want to. Really good uptime on that, because that was just weird. Why you had a 6-second major breach when everything else is 10, 14, whatever. Growing Swarm, the morph now limits the number of active targets you can have it on to 1. So they don't have a spoiler down for this one, but it makes complete sense. I'll explain in a minute. Increase the damage of the area of effect proportion by the ability up to 50% to make for the new limit. So, Growing Swarm is supposed to grow. It's not supposed to be cast on you, cast on you, cast on you. You got one beehive that's been pissed off, not loads of them. So, one target, but more damage in an area of effect situation. That makes a lot more sense. Applying it on multiple targets means it should have been a single target damage over time only, rather than both. Green Balance, Fungal Growth, increase the healing of this ability and its morphs by 12.5% to meet the area of effect burst healing standards. That's actually quite nice, because that's a really good heal anyway, although it's an awkward positional one. Healing standards, the cost remains the same since it covers significantly less area than the others. Yeah, because it's an awkward shape. Healing Seed made some back-end improvements to this ability and its morphs to improve performance. Fixed an issue where the synergy granted from this ability and its morphs harvest was not playing a visual or sound effect. Now, while some people may think, hang on, I just play music in the background anyway, it is really, really nice to listen to certain effects and also have subtitles on if you can't see what's going on. Cleric is busted for pug wipes. Of course it is. He was designed that way, dude. Lazy Tank is fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. Corrupt Pollen. This ability now prioritizes lowest health enemies with Major Defile. Ragweed season is coming. Lotus Flower. Reduce the cost of this ability and its morphs down to 1350, down from 2970. Fuck me. The base ability now grants Major Prophecy and Major Savagery while active. Green Lotus now increases the number of targets healed to 2, up from 1. Very nice, especially in small groups. And it also increases the healing of a light attack proportion to 1.5k, up from 1.320. So that was reflective of the initial minor bonuses, because the minor breach and fracture and all the rest of it used to be 1320, and now it's what, 2970 or something like that, or 2940. I think it's 2970 to match this one. So they've gone from here to here. And heavy attack proportion to 4.5k to 3960 at rank 4. Okay, so that's quite handy as well. Very, very nice there, because that is a little bit of a, not redundant skill, it just seems a bit boring, and now that they've increased it to more targets, that's quite nice. Lotus Blossom, the morph now increases the duration of the effect to 60 seconds, up from 20. Fuck me. That's a long, long buff. Really long. Lotus Flower was already one of my favorite tank skills, but it's super duper buff. Well, it's a healing skill, but you can use it on anything. Drops are on now. Good. Excellent. Enjoy them. Nature's Grasp. Reduce the healing from this ability and Nature's Embrace morph by 10%. Burst and Vines reduce the healing from this morph to 25% to ensure it's not stronger than other burst heal abilities, such as Rushed Ceremony. Okay, so their argument there is that it was too fucking strong. To be perfectly honest, I would imagine the reason behind that is because of your passives. Because a Warden is stupidly fucking strong at low health. I mean, this has been boosted anyway, so that's got more game time, and so have these. These have been boosted. Area of Effect and burst-based abilities. The single target burst one, while it is still fucking strong, once you get a target down to 40% health or lower, it's bonkers. If you don't burst a Warden at low health, you ain't killing it. Simple as that. They're too strong at low health. So while I do think that's a bit dramatic, we'll have to see how that actually pans out once you scale all your stats up, because that is going to be beneficial for both mag or stam anyway. So we'll see. But I can see the reasoning behind it. That will be tied to passives. But again, these have all been boosted, so they do line up in the middle, if you know what I mean. Crystallized Shield, Shimmering Shield, fixed an issue where this major heroism would not refresh when the ability after activating it once. Okay, so we've got more ulti regen now because it's actually working properly. Ice Fortress, increase the duration up to 25 seconds, up from 24, for slightly easier alignment with ability timers. Makes sense, nothing too major there. Two-hander ability, Crit Charge. Crit Rush, in fact, the morph there. So this ability now ranks up in cost reduction instead of damage. Reduce the base to 3510, down from 3780. Now, if someone's using this actively a lot, especially in PvP, going from one target to another, that can escalate. That can get quite expensive. So again, while this does look like a very small variation to it, only losing 270 cost of the skill. I mean, that is equivalent, not far off of a glyph if you were to put it on your jewelry, so that is going to impact you regardless, especially using it over multiple times. The damage application being reduced, I mean, it crits fucking anyway, so big whoop. Momentum, this ability and its morphs now also grant major sorcery, so you can use a two-hander with Magicka skills and benefit from... Yes, did you hear that? You could use a two-hander with Magicka and spell damage as your main stat because they all scale off of your highest stat. So you can be one of those magical whizzy bastards with a two-hander and it works. How fucking cool is that? Absolutely mental. Not only that, the healing ability that you've got from your momentum or your rally also now gives you sorcery, so you are covered. Yes, that does mean cleave can be scaled off of Magicka throughout. Two-handed fucking wizards. Magic shield, light armor, fast as fuck, two-hander, let's go. Oh, but there's less build choice. Yeah, that's why I tell people not to listen to fucking Facebook. Reverse slice increases the cost of this ability and it's morphed. See, this is another thing. You could be on a Magplar, which is... Patch notes? Yeah, I'm fucking pumped, Rich. Rich is in the chat. Shout him out. So reverse slice as well. I mean, it's on the same thing. BattleMage incoming. Exactly. So you could be on a Mag Templar with a two-hander, which is going to be all spell damage and Magicka. And at the same time, you could use reverse slice for your Air of Effect Execute instead of your Jesus Beam. Or just have both for convenience. How are these? Patch notes and notice I've got excited for the builds. Dude, I'm halfway through. Got to catch up. Pull up a chair. That would be fun. Also, many two-hander styles could never use. BattleMage for the win. People have completely missed this. I've been talking about it briefly for the last couple of days or so after they put the combat notes up on the website. And people have literally deleted their brains and been quite stupid about it, going, oh, there's no choice now. There's more choice. Everything you wanted to do but wasn't effective in the past because your stats weren't quite right, now they make sense. You can do literally anything you want. Terminator, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Two-hander Magicka builds. Let's go. What we've got here. Executioner. This morph no longer ranks up in damage done per rank. Instead, it reduces the cost. So now you can spam the execute to your heart's fucking content. The morph's splash damage now ranks up to 100% of the original hit. Oh my god! I fucking love that skill. Oh my god! Look at that! It used to do 78%. So you clink, 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 and they all hit a little bit. Now it's basically a spammable lightning staff, except they crit. One hand and shield, power bash. The damage from this ability in its morphs now considered bash damage and interrupts the casting target. This means that the damage will increase with bonuses to bash, as well as triggering events that require bash to do damage. Bash damage. Deal bash damage even. It will not, however, inherit cost reduction bonuses. So damage-wise, it treats it as a bash, and interrupts it treats it as a bash. So for you sword and board users out there, I know you can just bash simply, but if you wanted to use a skill for its utility as well, you can get two things out of one skill. Fucking cool. Carve always on mag builds. Yes. Power Slam. This bonus disability, Resentment, no longer stacks up to 10 times. Now it simply increases the damage of your next Power Slam by 33%. Beautiful. Nice and quick. In efforts to inject some life into the incredibly niche playstyle, we've significantly amped up the viability of bash builds by giving them the true spammable. We are aware of how much power is behind bash builds, however, so we'll keep a close eye on the functionality and see if we need to tone it down, tone down the damage to make up for its ability to stack with new bonuses. So yeah, you've got a bash spammable now. Instead of trying to stack it and stack it and stack it and stack it and bam, stack it, stack it, stack it, bam. Now you can actively use it as something that's benefiting you. New bash, man. Notice how he's being cute and ironic about that. Kappa! Rich loves this shit because he loves to just prod the fucking bear. Yeah, well, Rich said there's a no, we didn't. I always use the bash code. Damn, this is hype. If you're using the bash code already, we've gone past it, but the ultimate has had some adaptations as well. It now officially counts as bash damage. Shield charge. Shield assault, in fact. Increases the shield granted with this morph by 25% of your max health, up from 15. Bear in mind, again, people, I have already explained the point of tanky skills. They do scale off of a particular resource, generally off of health. So, again, I'll explain it. People that want to build for more spell damage and Magicka for more damage, they do so, don't they? People that want to build for more weapon and stamina for more damage, they do so, don't they? People that want to utilize their tank skills effectively to get the most out of them, put some fucking health on. That's how those skills scale. You're not going to get around that. That's how it works. If you want more strength out of those skills, have more health. If you want less health, great, but your skills are less effective. Effectively, you are being a DPS, deliberately toning down your damage. Anyway, this ability scales off of max health, so the more health, the bigger the shield from that. Reduce the base cost of this ability down from 3780 down to 3510, which again, very nice. That isn't a massive drop. It's again only 270, but over constant casts of that, you will see the difference. You love it. So many elites QQing about the balance changes. Dude, I've literally gone all the way to here. So far, I've seen one thing that I'm a little bit about, and even that was already balanced by its previous skills, so it doesn't make a fucking difference. It's really tricky trying to make people understand something they refuse to understand. Instead of just going, my one way. Dude, you can still play that way if you want, but there are so many choices in this game. If it's too confusing to take all those in, you don't have to take them all in. Play how you want. But if you do want to explore the possibilities, your brain will fucking explode. There's so much. Flying Dagger. This ability and its morphs now also grant major sorcery. Oh my god. Flying Dagger, this base version of this skill now also grants brutality and sorcery after casting, rather than only with the teleport version. Increase the damage of teleport version by 50% to better reward its use. Extra damage for flying across the room like a loon. Pummeling Goliath would work or Power Bash. Lord Shadowmare, you got to listen to the words. Yes. That has literally just been changed. That was earlier, though. Arrow Spray. They've got to do something with this, because I don't like the fucking skill. This morph no longer also snares targets. Bombard, by the way. This morph now reduces its cost as the ability ranks up, rather than increasing the duration of its negative effect on it. And the Immobilize remains to be 4 seconds. Okay, the Immobilize on that is fine. It's the poison one. I don't like the poison one. 99% update nearly complete, plus 1 year till fully installed. Excellent, we're getting there. Venom Arrow, this morph now grants... Oh my god! Oh my god, Rich! What have you done? What have you done? I've got Major Savagery and Prophecy on both bars already. You just gave my poison injection, well, Venom Arrow even, fucking brutality and sorcery. That's fucking nice. Yogi's gonna love that. No more fucking weapon pots. It'll be tripods all day fucking long. They're deleting potions, by the way. I had 50k health on my DK tank. In which case, you're going to make very good use of your Igneous Shields, your Dragon Blood, and all the other stuff that scales off of it. What have you done? Venom Arrow, the one that shoots people across the fucking room. This is going to be insane. Yeah, it is. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Resto Staff, Blessing and Protection. This ability and its morphs now follow the area of effect burst heal standard. As such, have increased the cost. Fair enough. They've been doing some of the balancing for those things. We know that's happening, and you can incorporate that with your class skills anyway. That is a substantial increase, but just bear in mind, you're not going to have to spam it because it's got a duration on the buff. If you're going to spam it for its active healing, then you probably should be using one of your class ones anyway. Increase the healing done from Blessing and Protection and Combat Prayer by approximately 36%. Okay, problem solved. This big burst heal. And the duration of the effects up to 10 instead of 8, because that was skew whiff as fuck. Beautiful. Problem playing the way you want is trying to get God's Star progression runs because they won't let... No, it's not a problem. That's a naive perspective. Unfortunately, this is to help you, by the way. Unfortunately, too many people listen to Gatekeepers. That content is not locked for you. That progression is not locked for you. That title is not locked for you. And nor is the way you play. You can go into that door with your friends or no friends whenever you like. People trying to scare you out of content can fuck themselves up a wall and keep the mind and mentality of their players inside their own group and stop trying to force feed everybody else's. If they want to play that way, fine. That's their group. But infecting other potential groups because they're scared of other people performing better than them is no good. That's negative. Stop it. So, Jobless Buddha, do not worry, dude. That content is there for you. It's there for everyone. You are not locked out of it. Zos hasn't told you can't go in there. It's bullshit. Gil pulls 100k DPS on his stand plan and non-meta set. There you go, exactly. Look at Off-Balance Templar. Off-Balance Templar is using Overwhelming, Alambris, and fucking Azurblight. And it can not only crack 100k DPS in single target, but it can blow up entire fucking rooms. Yes, the ads too, which means big ad pulls, boss, all the rest of it, all timed into one. Boom. All that gatekeeping shit is doing is showing other people's insecurities. It's showing that they want to show off to you and don't want you to achieve. Or they're that scared of their own ability not being able to carry another person that they're scared that you're going to be too weak for them to show off. Go play the game. Don't be scared by other people. If people want to play a certain way, that's their choice, just the same as it is if you want to play a certain way. Walk through that door. I guarantee your game won't crash. I guarantee you won't get kicked out of it because your sets are wrong. There's no such thing. If you're playing Warcraft, I appreciate that. Obviously, there is certain gear sets you're going to want to have, otherwise you can't get in anywhere. You're going to walk into it and die. Elder Scrolls Online is not going to penalize you for any form of that. And every single DPS check in the game is more than achievable by some of the least experienced players, let alone the highest ones. Damage is too high at the moment fucking anyway. Don't be manipulated by gatekeeping salt. Templar Abyss. Shut up, Bob! Gatekeeper's opinion is useful for Chocolate Teapot. Yeah, it is. All it does is stops you from playing your game. Are you in their group? Are you going to be in their group? Then they should mind their fucking business. And that's me being as straightforward and as honest as I can. People should mind their own business if they've got their own group and getting on with it. And you can do the same. You don't have to go looking for someone to do it for you. One more point. Every single person in the entire game can make a guild. Every single person in the entire game can make a group. You have the option to do so. As soon as someone goes, well, I'm a GM. Good for you. It doesn't go on your CV. It's not a real life fucking... what's the word for it? I can't think of the word. Qualification. There you go. So just play how you want to play. Over time, you'll know what works for you. And over time, you'll get stuff done. There's no rush either. The content's not going anywhere. Let's get back to this. This ability has been increased in damage, in cost. Also, the healing done has been increased and the duration. Perfectly fair. Templar is 4 years ago. Necromancer is where it's at. Doom loves his fucking Necro. Blessing and Restoration increases the healing done by 12.5%. And also increases the duration of the buffs provided to up to 20 seconds instead of 16. So much longer duration lined up with a lot of the other stuff, especially some of the resistance buffs, which are around 20. Steadfast Ward. This morph now reduces in cost as the ability ranks up rather than increasing the size of the shield. Get in! Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Have loved all your content since I started watching you long ago. Thank you very, very much indeed. Massively appreciated. Bit and cake in the chat. Just bear in mind, people, just because someone says you can't do something doesn't mean you can't. Some people like to try to stop you from doing stuff for their own amusement. If they're not in your group, it's none of their business. Go play it. You might be surprised. We do that on stream all the fucking time, actually. What's this? Buddha is subbed. Thank you very much. I think you liked my speech. Soul Trap. This ability and its morphs now deal only magic damage instead of physical or magic based on your higher stats. But its damage will scale dynamically. Thank you very much for that sub. Massively appreciated. So, basically, this used to scale off of one or the other. And it still does. But if it's scaled off of your highest resource being stamina or weapon damage, hard to get the words out today, it would do physical. If it used to scale off of spell or magicka, it would do magic. Now it just does magic. So instead of having a fluctuating possibility of status effects, depending on which two sides of the scale you spec into, now it doesn't matter, it's going to do magic anyway. So basically, if everyone brings fucking Soul Trap, I think you're going to have 100% uptime on minor magic steel, because that's never going to fucking fail. Many people are afraid of making their own groups and just want to join existing groups. That's fine, but then you do have to adhere to the group's requirements. If you don't like that, and I don't, then do the footwork to make your own. 100% accurate. You are not having any of your content held to ransom by somebody who has already done it before you. What people before you can teach you is how they did it. Whether you want to take that on board or not is entirely up to you. Or maybe you just want to go in blind and try. You don't have to do something everybody else tells you. That's the point of this game, is play your own way. Literally the tagline, any class, any race, any role. No content is restricted to any of that. No content is restricted to your gear. No content is restricted to the way you and your friends decide to play, talk, shit, fart, whatever. Do what you want. If it doesn't work, try something else. It's up to you. Glitter and Ghost. We need a shout out for Ghost in the chat, please. Thank you very much for joining. How you doing? I saw your face paint yesterday. It was absolutely mega. I'm stupidly jealous, and I'm going to get some. I'm not. It was cool as fuck, though. Hopefully you had a good stream. If you're not following Glitter and Ghost, by the way, make sure you're doing so. I have got beer today. I've only got one at the moment. There are other ones. And this isn't too bad. It's a really bad beer. It doesn't count as beer. Rich is going to tell me off, but it's all I had in the fridge, so don't judge me. Xynode face paint stream confirmed. My face was already red when I came in, because I had a shave 2 minutes before the fucking stream, and it was just fucking red raw. So I don't need to put paint on. Seen a lot of people that can reach massive DPS that don't know and have forgotten mechanics. Correct. Some people use that as a crutch instead of actually learning how to do stuff. Yeah, it looks cool, but if you don't know what you're doing and you've got loads of damage, you're going to die a lot. If you do know what you're doing and you've got loads of damage, different story. This ability in its morphs, now I've read that one already. Vampiric Drain. Increase the damage done from this ability and its morphs up by 50% per tick. Good. Do you know why I think it's good? Because at the moment, it's shit. At the moment, it's on the vampire build, actually, and it actually works really well. But its damage over time is somewhat lacking in comparison to other channel skills. Its utility is bonkers, especially if you're using it on a tank or a healer to generate ulti. But for a DPS that might want to use it, being locked into a channel while generating whatever it is you're generating from either morph, the damage was lacking. So, fair enough. Sips on water. Doom's happy because he uses that skill. The vampire build, by the way, just literally got buffed by default with that, if it comes through to live. Howl of Agony. Fix an issue where this ability's damage to the target, bonus damage, by the way, for facing you, could fail in many situations. No way have we got Hype Train. We had a Hype Train earlier. We got another one. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for the sub. Patch Note stream needs beer. You're not wrong, dude. Pounds. Fix an issue where the ability in its morphs override abilities. Carnage could be dodged and blocked despite being damaged over time. Yeah, if it's attached to you and it's damaged over time, you can't dodge the actual ticks. So that's fixed. Oh my god, DJ's back again. Yes, with a gifted sub. 150 now. Sips Rum and Monster Mango. So these streams are normally, I mean, they are in general. They're very, very stressful because you've got lots of information to absorb and explain. And you've got lots of people that either have loads of questions, which is great. Mike, thank you very much for the bits. Massively appreciated. Bit and cake in the chat. But at the same time, you do get the odd shitlord come in and try and explain to you stuff they've already heard on someone else's stream and try to make it out that it's their stuff. Or they just repeat stuff that is from the patch notes that you haven't got to yet. Fuck it, I can't even keep up. Thank you very much, Mind Distortion. 30 gifted subs to the channel. Now another 5. Kill the Dragonborn. Hype Train level 2. Let's fucking go.
Dragonborn.
You know the rules, people to fight starts again from scratch. If you kill the Dragonborn, you'll take their place to stream. I have to kill you instead. Blind, thank you very much for the bits. Hype Train level 2, people. Get in. So yeah, trying to get all this out there, and this is from a professional standpoint. It's very, very personal to try and get all this information out to teach people how your brain actually fucking works at a fast-paced situation. Because obviously I'm limited to time. It's really difficult. So I do fucking appreciate the fact that the chat has been very, very good today. There's been some legit questions about the stuff I have spoken about, rather than people trying to jump in and go, you know that bit you ain't got to yet? Yeah, I'm going to say it first because I said it. I've had none of that today, so thank you very much. We're going to keep going. Sigic Order. Imbue weapon. This ability in its morphs now costs 2700 rather than 2715 for their stamina versions and stamina versions and 3122 for Magicka morph. Let's see about this. This ability originally met those values on launch, but due to the overwhelming amount of use they saw at the time, they were increased to reach the same value relative cost for other spammables. Now that spammables in the game have received some tweaks since to further incentivize their use, we're comfortable moving these back to a cheaper cost for those players who want a lower cost spammable at the expense of a class or weapon skill line synergy. So if you don't want to use your weapon passives or your class passives or all that kind of stuff, you do have another option. And that one actually does more damage if you keep firing it. Like every 5 you get a free one, which is pretty cool. So I know Patch reading his bits. I love the Patch notes reading. I'm too dumb to understand all the things on live for these. You live for these streams. Alex, thank you very much. Massively appreciated. I'm glad people do like them. But the amount of stuff you have to absorb to understand some of this, especially if you're doing what I do and you're creating builds for the audience, functionally sound fucking builds as well, ones that are designed for content. The amount of information you have to take in, the amount of information you have to process while doing all that kind of stuff is really hard to show to somebody else. It's hard to explain. So when you've got all these in front of you and chat to talk to, it's mental because my brain is going like 10 times faster than I'm reading it. So I have to try and not be a nervous wreck. Shibby, thank you very much. Massively appreciated. Really excited for the mag DK claw change. Yeah, it's fucking nuts, dude. So, magical detonation, proximity detonation. Fix an issue where this morph was not properly scaling with your stamina if it was higher than your magicka. So that is a consolidated stat kind of skill anyway, but it wasn't working properly. Now it is. Champion system, sustained by suffering. Fix an issue where this passive was activating off of some effects it shouldn't have. Would you like me to explain that one for you? Since they've deliberately swerved what that meant. It's fine, Rich, I'll say it. Basically, people were doing a naughty. What they were doing is they were getting bitten by a vampire, and instead of taking the quest and gaining the passives and skill lines and all the rest of it, they had a curse because they were bitten. That counted as a negative effect. So therefore they could have a passive for free all the time, instead of it being active in combat. Let's face it, in most scenarios you're going to have a negative effect on you anyway. What difference does it make? But they did do that. So while it might be minor exploitery, it was also somewhat quite clever. If you want to get a frick ton of Xynode info dumps, there's a Patreon perk for that. There is, but I would encourage people that do want to join to do it on the 1st of February, which is tomorrow and or in 30 minutes. Because, actually a bit later than that because it's American time zones. Because it's per calendar month. And if you do it right now, you'll have to pay for today and tomorrow. Don't do that. Do it tomorrow. Everyone, I hope you have a grand evening. Enjoy the rest of the stream. However, I will step away for dinner and prep things for the storm coming to Midwest this week. Cheers, everyone. Stay safe, Epiphany. Thank you very much for watching. Item sets. Fixed numerous issues where sets that weren't based on damage or healing were not properly labeled as such. Creating confusion where some sets that applied buffs or crowd control could still trigger other sets when the core rule is that procs shouldn't trigger other procs. Excuse me. The only time a set should directly trigger another set is when a set's active or core combat skill or event, such as dodging, blocking, or applying status effect. The most noticeable fix with this is the sets like Aegis Caller, Thunder Caller could trigger Dark Convergence, or Dark Convergence could trigger Hrothgar, leading to insane wombo combos from one minor input. So that was not intended, but it's been working. So that's going to be fixed once that happens. Hype Train level 1 completed. Enjoy your emotes. Thank you very, very much. Pearson Spray fixed an issue where this set could fail to grant its bonuses from bow attacks. Oops. Crafted Sets Palinor fixed an issue where the final tick of damage for this set could return as 0. Cursive Dolmesh fixed an issue where this set could proc on the same attack that triggered a stun in some cases, bypassing the intended counterplay of the set. Flame Blossom fixed an issue where this set could fail to deal damage in many cases. Can't say I've seen that. I've used the set a lot, but I haven't seen that. Losing my breath a bit. Noble Duelist. This set now adds 2-6-8-1 weapon and spell damage to your light and heavy attacks rather than adding 1-8-1-1 damage to these attacks. Just bear in mind, by the way, people that have tried to convince me because someone tried to say so that this is better on the easy sort. No, it's not. Because you have to be in melee range to proc it, which is 5 meters, unless you're on a DK, which is 7. This is a very close quarter set, so unless you are always in that position, you're going to have some massive downtimes, so it's only useful on the dummy. In Dogmumps, I'm dead. Dear oh dear. Undaunted Infiltrator and Unweaver, these sets now add 2-1-4 weapon and spell damage to your light and heavy attacks rather than 1-6-8-5. By default, that is an easy sort boost, regardless of whether I give you a video or not. Monster set. I can never say this. Glorgloch? Is that how you pronounce it? Or Glogloch? I don't know. The Destroyer fixed an issue where this set could fail to remove the stacks in some cases. More like Kina fixed an issue where this set could activate in situations it should not have. So that's supposed to be 2 consecutive light attacks, not light skill, 2 in a row. Don't use that sort of language towards me, Mike. Mythic items. Pals of Abthithander. That one. Fixed an issue where this set could proc from non-cost abilities. Oops. As well as some abilities while out of combat. Naughty, naughty. Queen's Elegance. Oh my god. The memes. The fucking memes. Have you been watching the channel for a long time? If so, you understand that. If you haven't, you don't. Anyway, the set now grants Empower for 3 seconds after completing a fully charged heavy attack rather than additional 2, 6, 10 damage to your next direct attack. Mike, do you realize that that is actually a plus? Do you realize that? After 5 years of getting shit from people that thought they were clever, after trying to tell them constantly, no, it's not fucking better. It's obvious that I've tried it. Look at that. I still ain't going to use it. No, I'll get Empower from Galloway and I'll use 2 sets instead of wasting a buff on a whole set that I'm going to get anyway. But still, that is a substantial difference. First thing I thought of when I read the notes earlier was I saw Elegance. That's fucking hilarious. Someone make a meme of that somewhere. Make a little image with my stupid face in it. No, don't put my face in it. Dark Convergence fixed an issue where this set was failing to apply any of its damage bonuses for extra targets inside. Oh no, we can't have that. Fixed an issue where the set's damage could end much higher than intended in some cases. We can't have that either, can we? Fixed an issue where the set would apply to justice neutral enemies when prevention of attacking innocents was enabled. A long time ago, there was a bug for that. Basically, if you took a synergy from someone's damage effect and you had I can't hurt innocents on, you would still hurt them. So yes, I did used to intentionally take people's Nova synergies at the pledges and proc Alkosh at the guards so they would get aggro. Guilty. That seems crap load. 2k spell damage for heavies and lights. Yeah, it's already 1.6, dude, but now it's higher. First, chill. Fix an issue where this set was not triggering off many abilities that it should have, such as Daedric Mines or Beast Trap. Ooh. Wrath of Imperium fixed an issue where this set was not applying its bonus to many attacks it should have, so that's fixed as well. Trial sets. Olorime fixed an issue where this set did not proc off ability source tethers, unlike other item sets that share similar proc conditions. Armory, the rare issue where the weapons would not be equipped on loading. Fixed an issue where you could save or load builds with disguise equipped. Fixed an issue where the total champion points spent displayed in the gamepad UI was included in 2 out of 3 of disciplines. Yeah, I saw that. Also, I wiped a few by accident. You just need to add 4-second mending when taking damage to Beekeeper. Shut up! Fixes and bits and pieces. We're nearly done here, actually. So, fix an issue where the... I can't even pronounce that. How the fuck... Orbical? Or Arbical? I don't know how to fucking say that. Symbols marking would create visual artifacts in combination with certain armors and outfits. Fix an issue where the Death-born body markings would create visual artifacts in combination with certain costumes and adornments. Remove the ability to apply dyes to channels that aren't actually present in the Black Drake clan wrap outfit. So you've got some crossed out. They're supposed to stay crossed out. DC is fatal if it catches you when why. A few minor fixes, some big ones actually. Bankers no longer refuse to interact with criminals. Oh, that's hilarious. Bankers, you can't use them. There is a way around that. You just use Mesmerize from the vampire. But if you're not a vampire, you're fucked. Master Rip Vendor will no longer be visible on the map if your character does not meet the requirements. I mean, okay. I mean, if they don't meet the requirements, they're probably not looking for it anyway. Fixed an issue where baton rams could be sold to vendors for 0 gold. Now they cannot be sold to vendors at all, matching the behavior of siege weapons. Fair. Anyway, we are almost done with this. We've got a couple more fixes. The dungeon one here. Blackheart Hollow. Blackheart Haven even. Hollow Heart. First Trident's animation now corresponds better to cast time of the ability. Trident's damage will now be applied more consistently to player character affected by it and will also be affected by player mitigation. Adjusted Ice Bolt to target player characters more easily and be easier for you to react to. Increase the damage of Ice Bolt. I don't think most people are going to see an issue with that because that is still quite a fast kill for most. Even if you're quite new, you can kill that quite quickly. But again, it's bugged, so whatever. New dungeon coming, Blackheart Hollow. I know, right? Spindle Clutch 1, Power Bash ability has now the correct icon. The Bleed and Snare from the Throw Dagger ability now have correct names and more easily identify them. Perfect. So, for consistency's sake, fixes there, which are obviously helpful. Housing stuff, we could be here for fucking ever going over this stuff. This, I'm going to put in the chat. So, here, for those of you that want to read up on it, that is the link. So, if it does apply to you and your housing stuff, not to negate it or make it any useless endeavors. I fucking love housing stuff and I appreciate the work people put in, but I'm not going to read through all that stuff because that is very select issues that some of you might have had, but not everybody. Combat stuff affects everyone. Right. I am pretty much done there. PTS is downloaded. I don't think we're going to get any time to go on it because I have to leave in like 8 fucking minutes. But if you're in Secret Ninjas already, in the next week, you are going to see so much fucking stuff flooded in there. On live stream, you will see stuff as well. At the moment, my computer is playing hell up, so I don't want to risk breaking it on stream tonight. My new one is due this week. If it doesn't turn up in time, I will do PTS streams, but I'll have to tone the graphics and shit right down, so no complaints about it looking like a fucking 1990s game. Are you Xynode Gaming on PS4 EU server? Yes, I am. Xynode Gaming on PS EU and NA. Xynode Gaming on Xbox EU and NA. Xynode on PC EU and NA. Anyway, people, a quick rundown of that. Lots and lots of positive changes. Fuck tons of additional build diversity on top of what we already had, but now to make it more relevant. Basically anything goes now. So if you have been on those shit train posts where people are kicking off about how there's no choices now, those people never explored choices in the fucking first place. They don't know what they're talking about, clearly. Anyway, I was in your trial. Nice. So have another read over it if you're not sure of stuff and things, but this week you will see me trying stuff out. You will see me doing stuff. You will see how some of this stuff works, although you probably look at it on other channels as well. patience is a virtue, I guess. Keep close eyes on the channel. Stuff and things are happening. Mental patch. Happy days. Thank you for watching. If you're not subscribing on YouTube or following on Twitch, please hit those buttons. They are free. Furthermore, if you want to help support outside the channel, there are some links in the info section for Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, the website XynodeGaming.com, where all the written guides are, Instagram, and once again, if you do join Patreon, do it on the 1st of February, not today, because today is the last day of the month, and you get charged per calendar month. So wait until East Coast midnight and onwards, I think. Once again, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.
That the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but they see where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business is humongous, you would think that happens in there. Damn man, I'm all that, yeah, I'm all that. Working for that whip, yeah, that what you call that. I'ma blow up in the summer, have them yelling fall back. And I've always been ahead like an effing ball cap. Man, I came in the game like, whoa. Got a couple chains on me cause I like gold. They told me I'm the best and I told them I know. Cause when I'm in your town, every ticket I sold. Yeah, they saying I'm the man. Facts, bro. Lot of haters, tell me where they at though. I'm the new pop, all I do is rap though. Want me on your song, throw a couple stacks, yo. Woo! Everybody wanna do the same thing. Yup, that's why we ain't on the same page. Do my own thing, and I maintain. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream.